And welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Abby Ritchie, and I am thrilled to be here with you every Tuesday, speaking with tech innovators in the senior living space. I've got a great guest here for you today, in fact, two of them. But before we get started, let me go ahead and run. All right. Well, I want to go ahead and introduce my guest today. Her name is Anna Samito. I hope I said that right, Anna. And
Perfect.
oh, good. And Anna is from the Virtual Senior Center. Anna, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about the Virtual Senior Center.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Samito. I'm the Business Development Manager with the Virtual Senior Center. And the Virtual Senior Center is a unique platform that actually started in 2010. It was created out of a need that was seen in community centers throughout the city. And essentially, what it was is we saw that older adults were not able to get to their community centers anymore, not able to get to programming that was happening in their different cultural institutions. And what we did is we created a way for them to keep connected to what was going on locally in their community. And we knew that there were socially isolated older adults out there that wanted to stay connected, that wanted to do more. And we created the Virtual Senior Center out of that need.
So, whoa. Let's back up because this happened in 2010. So this was
2010.
visionary. I got to say, this was visionary. So much of the technology that we're using today stemmed out of the pandemic, which was just 2 years ago. But you all saw that there was a need for this 12 years ago and jumped on it and got going on that. So, I just think that that's awesome. It's amazing. You were way ahead of the curve. So how did that start in how did you start getting the technology together for that?
So we like to think of ourselves as innovators, and we really created what everyone now knows as hybrid.
Uh-huh.
We were at the forefront of that because we saw the need right away. Excuse me. So when we created the technology, it was really a way for us to create hybrid programming. We wanted to be able to connect those seniors, those older adults that were at home, not really able to connect with their friends, family in a one-on-one personal way. Being able to give them that ability to do so through the Virtual Senior Center. Through the years, we've partnered with different cultural institutions like museums. We've partnered with other people in the community, such as yourself, that are doing things like hosting tech classes for our seniors as a way just to get them more involved, get them engaged. Our programming has grown tremendously since that, and we're doing more intentional engagement now. I don't know if you know Abby. Abby's been working with us for a really long time, facilitating some of our tech classes. But a lot of our programming that we create, it's created by social workers. The programming is run by social workers. The engagement that we do is initiated by social workers. These are people that are experts in the aging field that are creating these programs to ensure that the needs of our community, our older adults, are being met. Now, in terms of the technology, again, when we started, it was something that we were creating it for a small group, for local community centers. And as the need grew, we decided to make a couple of changes. And part of the changes that we've made is that we've given other community organizations the ability to create their own virtual communities. And so we have the programming, but there's also the technology that can be used by any type of community organization or any type of, let's say, government entity to host their own content for their own communities as well.
Gotcha. And so, how do communities find out about you?
So a lot of it will, with older adults, sometimes they reach out to us. Maybe it's a family member that wants to find some way to keep their older adult engaged during the day or at night when they're home alone. So sometimes they'll come and reach out to us. Sometimes it may be through the different community partnerships that we have with organizations throughout the city, the state, even the US. We have a couple of partnerships on the West Coast and in Middle America as well. So older adults may find out about us through their community centers or even through different Department of Aging state level organizations because there are some partnerships there as well to make the virtual senior center available to older adults. So there are a myriad of different ways in terms of how people find out about us.
Now, you mentioned loneliness, isolation, and you started to talk about how it's different in the evening than it is during the day. How does your programming vary at night?
Absolutely. So a lot of what we find and a lot of what many of the community partners that we have, what they find is, they're able to provide programming during the day from 9 to 4 and 9 to 5. They have a great schedule of events, classes, interaction, engagement that's happening. But then in the evening, that's when things usually shut down in person, right? Or they shut down at the community centers,
Even on the weekends, too, right?
even on the weekends. And there's been such a need. And this was even before the pandemic, right? There was always a need to have programming in the evenings and on the weekends. And so we make sure to fill everyone's calendar with not just things to do, but different types of engagement, right? So you may not necessarily want to engage in a classroom setting. You may just want to talk to whoever is awake at 9 p.m. at night, right? Because that's usually the loneliest time of night for anyone, not just older adults. So you can jump on the platform and engage with whoever else is awake at that time of night. I want to emphasize that all of our programs, they're all live. They're all facilitator led. We do record sessions. So if anyone wants to go back and maybe they want to practice their karaoke in between sessions, they can do so. But we really make sure that if there's ever a time when someone wants to engage, that opportunity is there for them to engage not only with their community, but their peers as well.
That's awesome. And how do you track the success and the popularity of the programs?
So we rely on member feedback. We want to hear from our members on how well they're enjoying the programming. Are we providing them with enough learning opportunities, enough passive learning opportunities? They want to see more games? Do they want to see more opportunities just to chat with one another? Do they want larger settings or smaller settings? Are they enjoying the entire experience of the platform? So we definitely rely on them. Our community members, they're very vocal. They let us know, they let us know if they like something or if they don't like something. And we really appreciate that because, like I mentioned before, our social workers are doing the planning. They're really reaching out and finding those opportunities to connect with different cultural institutions and different content providers. But it doesn't matter if our members don't like it, right? So we definitely rely on them to make sure that we're hitting the mark with the type of programming that we're putting onto the platform.
I want to ask you because in the span of 12 years, so much will change, and I'm sure you've tried and tested many things. So tell me, what things, have been slow to adopt, or what things did you try that just flopped and you were shocked, and what things took off and you were completely surprised by?
I think the thing that I personally was shocked by was that, I believe there's a misconception out there that older adults have an adversity to technology. And honestly, with our population, they can't get enough. We host multiple classes throughout the week for them to learn, and it's everything from using your smartphone to take pictures and edit pictures to different things you can do with Gmail and Outlook. I mean, they just can't get enough. And honestly, that's been such a pleasant surprise, because we know that the need is there. Other things that we've tried have sometimes been different types of classes. It may be, we offer a certain class during the day, but we find that it's more popular at night, because the need really exists, sometimes at night or the weekend, depending on the topic. Some of the more successful programs that we've had, that have really worked have been the series, right? So we may be like a 6-week series on heart healthy cooking. Those have been surprisingly popular with some of our members. Some other things that we do, that's more focused on some of the uses that our community partners have for the VSC have been things like reporting. So we've really tried to collaborate with some of the community administrators to see what kinds of things they need on their end to be able to manage a virtual community, but also to ensure that the programming that they're even creating is really hitting the mark and fulfilling the need for their particular community. So some of the things that we've incorporated is robust reporting on the back end. And so that way, whether it be a case manager or a director of a senior living community, they can really see what kind of an impact through our reporting, what kind of an impact the virtual senior center and the programming that we provide is having on their individual members.
Was there anything in particular, though, that you worked on where you were like, darn, I really thought that was going to fly and it flopped? Was there anything that
Yeah,
comes to mind
my
for
my
you?
big thing is I thought people would want to. So I thought, maybe we should have some late night like learning opportunities for people. They
Yeah,
don't want to learn as much as
yeah,
at night. I think they're more than happy of learning, doing things where they learn during the day, and having more what I like to call a little bit more passive entertainment or passive learning at night. They really want opportunities to socialize, is really the thing that has been surprising. You can't, sometimes you just kind of want to turn off and just hang
yeah.
out with your friends.
That's right. Put your pen down for a little
Yeah,
while.
put the pen down. Yeah.
Exactly. So someone wrote in, they said it makes such a difference that the classes are live, and that really does provide a human to human connection. And, I have noticed as a teacher on the platform that it really is a community that's happening. Um, Whenever I'm on, that the people know each other, that they're engaged with each other. And I want to go ahead at this point and bring on one of the members. So let me introduce to you Vito. Hi, Vito.
Hi, everybody. My name is Vito DeSantis. I'm a senior at the VSC, and I really enjoy all the programs. And you get the good satisfaction. But when it all started out for me around three and a half years ago, my wife belongs to a support group at the JVC in Staten Island, New York, and she asked me, well, you can get into this program if you want. And I was the type to say, I don't want to do it, you know. And then finally, when I got to do it 3.5 years ago, I really enjoy it. I mean, it's great. I met a lot of friends. The the technology group, everybody in the group is fantastic, and they help out just not me, but everybody else, and very happy with the program.
Yeah, so tell us, how much have things changed in the since you first signed on 3 years ago?
Oh, it changed dramatically. It's fantastic. There's a lot more things that you can learn, and you know, and it's really great. You know, it's like you know, there's so much more to do, and the chatting with your friend. You could chat with your friends. You could chat with a group, and also you can actually, people in the senior center have their own chatting, and when you go in there you get to see multiple people, and it's really wonderful.
Yeah, it really does sound like a community, which is the type of platform and the feel that the senior center is seeking, right? So, and do you feel secure when you're in the platform?
Oh, I feel very secure when I'm in this platform.
Mhm.
You
Good.
know, sometimes I'm down, you know, things happen at the house, like, you know, I lost my dog. But then when I get to go to the programs and I get to see people and people say hello to me and I say hello to them, it brings me up. It's a big lift.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Even as an instructor, to see my students weekly, it's uplifting, you know. And we may never meet in person, or we may meet in person, but it's the
Right,
fact that we're in the meeting in the same place week to week, and
right,
we could be in any state across the country, right? But it's
right,
the
right.
community and the engagement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's another big thing that they made this program across the country, and you get to meet other people in California, Texas. I mean, you know, all over the place, and they're very nice people.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a very nice program. It was put together very well with everybody that works in it. They're doing a fantastic job.
And Abby, I just want to say with our community, they really look out for one another. Whether you're new, if you're new, they're welcoming, they're very welcoming in individual classes. But also, if anyone is missing for a long time, then they start asking one another, have you seen so and so? I mean, it's really a community that looks out for one another. And it's just amazing because no one's ever met in person. And I think that speaks to the power of having the virtual senior center and having a virtual community in this way.
Yeah,
It's fantastic when you have friends, and then they give you the phone number, so then sometimes you just talk on the phone,
yeah.
communicate.
What are some classes that you're taking, Vito, that you were really surprised by that you ended up loving?
Oh, I love your class, and I try to make it all the time. You know, other than if I have doctor's appointments, you know, that's hard to do. But I love your class because everybody in the class interact with each other and learn. I love your class. I love the class on Sunday, the card game. Dave from
Mhm.
I think he's from South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, or North Carolina, either one. And we play cards, and we have a nice group, and we all get together for that hour, and that hour goes real fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Abby, can you tell everyone what the name of your class is on the VSC?
Well, I have a tech time with Abby, but we just added a new one, which is Tech Cafe, right?
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, Tech Cafe with Dear Abby, where anyone can ask any random tech question. It's sort of like a call in, or just ask your question, get it answered. That's newer type of format, because I know people always have questions, and sometimes they wait till the end of the class to ask their off topic question, but we wanted to provide them with an opportunity to ask a question and get it answered. I mean, it's important to get your questions answered. So,
Right.
um, I wanted to go ahead and put up a comment here. It does sound like a virtual college. You get things done, you meet friends from all over the country. And yeah, Vito, you're doing a good job as a spokesperson. And we also had another comment here from Jeff about bringing, loving the idea and the concept. So, yeah, this is great. And I want to echo that, yeah, I've noticed when people are missing or they've been gone for a while. I know Vito was gone for a while with eye surgery, that people notice and they say, what's going on? We haven't seen them in a little while. And is everything okay? So, and let me ask you, Anna, as we progress and as people get back to meeting in person, what does this look like for the virtual senior center?
Well, from the conversations that I've been having with different community partners and different community organizations and senior living facilities, is that the need is still there. And if we're being honest, the need was always there.
Yeah.
I think for a long time, everyone saw this as a nice to have.
Mhm.
And when the pandemic hit, everyone, regardless of age, realized what the impact of social isolation and loneliness really has on your mental health and even your physical well-being, right? And so a lot of the conversations now, I think, regardless of what industry you're in, is around how do we make this hybrid? How do we continue to offer our in-person programming, but continue to do outreach and provide programming to those that are at home? How do we extend that engagement to everyone, regardless of where you're located? So a lot of organizations and government entities and senior living facilities are looking for different ways to keep their older adults engaged, because I don't think that planning for a hybrid world it's here to stay. It's never going away. And so we at the Virtual Senior Center, we're planning for that. We have a lot of great things coming up at the end of the summer. A lot of great programs are coming, Vito. So you'll be able to see a lot more happening with the VSC and a lot more ways to interact and stay connected to your community.
Yeah, that's great. Then that's really exciting.
You know what's great, but it's great if you miss a program and it's on the library, you can go right back and see what you missed,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
that's fantastic. That's a great feature.
Yes, I do have students from around the world who will watch a recorded version and get in touch with me and say, I can only see this recorded, but I love your classes, and so just the opportunity to be able to go back and watch something and be able to start and stop a recording so that you can make sure you got your settings right, or,
For sure.
you understood the material at your own speed, I think is a huge benefit as well. So
Sure.
on the platform, I want you to take me through it a little bit, because I know that you're offering classes, I know you're offering email, you're offering chat. What other social features are available through the platform?
Yeah, so the chat feature that we have on the platform does allow our members to be able to interact individually, because what we found is that, and I don't know if you've noticed in hosting your own class as well, is that sometimes people will stay after class and just want to chat with one another. And so we've created the ability for them to be able to not have to wait until after class to set up a chat session. So we've given them that ability there. There are a couple of different things that I can't talk about just yet that will be made available to our members that'll give them another way to engage. We also have Gmail, like they can connect directly to their Gmail account, because again, we just want to be able to encourage a level of comfort with being able to use technology. So the more that we can encourage that with our members and make it available to them, the better. And I think for some of the administrators that use our platform, what they'll see is that there are a lot more ways of connecting to AI and reporting that'll help them custom curate their own programming for their community members there. So they'll see a lot more ways to engage, a lot more ways to track the well-being of their members as well. One of the things that I want to emphasize is that we have our own community on the Virtual Senior Center. It's used by many different communities, and they create their own programming, whether it be just for their members or if they want to share that with the overall virtual community, they can as well. But they have the ability also to track how their members are interacting with the platform. So we're working to ensure that they have real-time live updates on the impact that the Virtual Senior Center is having on things like different outcomes, like the social determinants of health, and making sure that that reporting is there.
And do people have to qualify in order to get on the platform? No?
Nope, you don't have to qualify, and you don't have to have any type of level of skill at all. We help take care of all of that. We have different opportunities. So let's say, for example, you're a new member that's joining the virtual platform. What we do is we provide training. So we have training twice a week that anyone can join. As whether you're new, if you want a refresher, you can join our new member orientation. And then once a week, we do a Q&A session. So if you have any type of random question that you want to ask, you can come and we'll help you. Again, that's all live. That's all facilitator led. And so there are plenty of opportunities. And then us as a team, we're available to answer any questions that any member may have.
That's great. That's great. I thought they only saved their random questions for me. So
no, not at all. Not
That's
at all.
great.
We have the Q&A sessions as well.
Right on. So tell me, how can people find out and how can they join the Virtual Senior Center?
Sure. And I don't know if you have a mechanism for sharing my contact information, but I'd be happy to put that in the chat. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I know this is being streamed on a couple of different social platforms. I'm Anna Samito on LinkedIn. You can also check out our website. It's VSCM, like Mary, .selfhelp.net. And you can contact us through the website. And my email address is asemedo@selfhelp.net.
Okay, I'll put it in there later. I'm not great at typing and speaking at the same time.
I'm not either.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And I just want to thank both of you for being on today and for contributing. I know that the Virtual Senior Center is impacting so many lives and just helping a lot of people have a greater sense of community and engagement. So thank you. And we also say thank you to our audience for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.
Thank you.